Good morning, YouTube. Fred here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today it's the first nice sunny day we've actually had on a weekend in a while. Yesterday we got snow and rain, and today it's going to be 60s, so kind of crazy. Anyway, today I'm taking the Streetfighter 848 out for literally the first ride. You'll see here I've got a GoPro set up and I've got an external mic on my helmet here. This is my old helmet. This is a Shoei RF 1200, and the audio on the camera isn't that great without a mic, so I'm going to be using that. Hopefully it picks up my voice and you can see a little bit about what the bike is like, but I'm really excited to try it. Alright, so we're going to get it started up here. It's kind of the startup procedure, and it goes through all the lights and stuff. Flip it into run, that's the kill switch. And there we go. Sounds really good. Oh, I'm excited to ride this thing, see what it actually can do. And remember, this is going to be a track bike for me, so mostly on track riding, some amount of on-road, which today will be an example of. But I'm really excited for this as a performance track beast, so I'm excited. Let's go. Open up the vents on my helmet. Yeah! Oh, this thing's gonna be fun. I've got to be a little bit cautious. The tires on it are brand new, both front and rear. I got I think it's Pirelli Rosso 2s or Rosso Corsos. I'll have to check. But they have no scuffing on them from the road, so I got to be a little cautious because they're going to be slick for the first 20 or 30 miles. Some horses. Alright, so we're going to go and get some gas, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a loop. Stay pretty local, but just to get a feel of the bike. This thing's going to be fun. Whoa, yeah! Well, I don't know if the mic is picking up the sound of the bike as well as I'm hearing it, but man, it's got that deep Ducati rumble. I love it. It feels pretty nimble, definitely comfortable. It's a fairly upright riding position. But then, you know, you can still get into a little bit of a tuck when you get on a straightaway or something. Woo! Okay, this has some get up and go. I like it. This has definitely got some power. One thing that strikes you about a bike like this is the torque is instantaneous. I think that's probably one of the advantages of a two-cylinder versus a four, is that just even down low, you just roll on. The gearing on this bike is fairly tall, so it definitely is one of those things that you got to keep that in mind if you want some real acceleration. But the great part is you don't have to shift a lot. You just float around in second or third for most, you know, country roads, and you're good to go. Oh yeah. Wow, I had forgotten what acceleration like this is like. I mean, I've been in the Corvette a lot, and the Mini is even pretty fast. But I forgot, bikes are next level. I mean, this is like hypercar level acceleration. Oh, we've got a turkey in the road. Couple turkeys. Any more? Walking a log in the water. Oh man, that torque, that is awesome. This is gonna be a fun bike. This is gonna be great at the track too. I tend to ride tracks that are a little tighter. Like Thompson's pretty tight, New Hampshire Motor Speedway is pretty tight. And so you don't get the huge super long straightaways where you're really revving it out in 5th or 6th. Here, you know, a lot of the tracks I ride are fairly tight, and so coming out of corners with torque, you're going to be able to pass a lot of the higher strung sport bikes pretty easily. Gonna get some petrol. I have no idea how big this gas tank is. This is the first fresh gas it's probably gotten in at least a year. Oh, 3 gallons, so it's a decent sized tank. And away we go. So I don't know how big the gas tank is. It took 3 gallons, and I think there was maybe another quarter tank, so it might be like 3.5, 3 1/4, something like that. So I have no idea what the range is. I'm going to keep an eye on it. It took me a little while to figure out the whole setup with the resetting the odometer on it so I could track that. I hadn't played with any of the menus or anything. It looks like there's a bunch of track settings, which is pretty cool for traction control, lap timers, all that stuff. So I'll have to definitely go and poke around online and find a manual and see what that's all about. Oh, yep, I enjoy that. So this bike is based on the 848 Superbike that Ducati makes. In fact, the motor is basically the same. They did a little bit of tuning, I think, to make a little more torque down low. I don't think it revs quite as high. But overall, I mean, this thing is just a beast. It definitely is like raring to go. This doesn't feel like a bike that likes to go slow. The way the steering geometry and the steering head angle is, it definitely feels more stable at speed. At low speed, it kind of wants to, you know, lean one way or the other. So just something for me to be aware of. But yeah, I mean, the motor itself it's a super motor. It's really powerful. The torque on it honestly feels very similar to the R1 I used to have. I had an 09 R1. I think it was the first year of the cross-plane motors, and that thing was just a blast. But on the track, I mean, you could be going 60 and you wouldn't even be out of first gear if you went all the way to red line. So this thing is definitely sort of a split. The Hyper had real short gearing, so you know, you could put around 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and be going the speed limit. The R1 was insane, so like 2nd gear would do 110. Actually, you know what? I think it was 1st gear went 110. And yeah, I mean, you could rev it out and be going incredibly fast without even shifting the thing. This is sort of a blend. The top gears are definitely super tall. The lower gears are still tall, but they're not as tall as the R1 was. The clutch action, the clutch is both very precise and very firm. The interesting thing is the engagement is literally like the first, I don't know, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. It's very short. So you certainly can just do a 2-finger on it and you'll be fully engaged, fully disengaged. It's probably just how it's adjusted. But I've noticed, like, going away from a stop, it's a long pull. So I've been using all 4 fingers when I stop, though I much prefer just having 2 on it. And that's going to take a little getting used to. I'll probably just readjust it. But I like being able to just have it fully engaged with 2 fingers and not having to do the full hand thing. Though what I found, as I said, it's very firm, and so I tend to use all 4 fingers if I'm going to be at a stop for 20, 30 seconds or longer, just because it's like very, very tight, so it's very hard to pull it, and your fingers will get tired otherwise. that instant torque. I mean, granted we're going slow, but you can pass so easily. Get my tires scrubbed in a little bit here. Take it nice and easy. Look to the inside. Check for a car. And we'll just hang out here. Definitely some wind pressure. There's no windscreen or anything in front of me. The stock exhaust sounds pretty good. I want to change it, but I'm also a little nervous because a lot of the tracks recently are instituting decibel limits, and I know that pretty much every aftermarket pipe is going to probably push it over. I would definitely buy something that has a dB killer in it, but I can't find any good measurements on like how loud that actually is, and they all say closed course riding only, so they don't have to abide by any sort of sound laws. I'm wearing my new boots. This is the first time wearing them. I mean, obviously it's the first time I'm riding the bike, and it's the first time that I've had the boots and had a bike. And so far so good. They're really comfortable. They definitely are like kind of pre-creased in a bunch of areas, which is nice, so that there's not as much of a tough break-in like my last pair had. This thing feels really good. This is just what I was hoping it would be like. Interesting. Right about like 3,500 RPMs. Hear that weird kind of like chatter? It sounds like it's just at a kind of a low point in the fueling. I'll have to talk with the shop about that. It doesn't sound bad, it doesn't sound like a problem, it just sounds a little different. The Hyper had a spot like that too. I want to say it might have been like 4,200. Oh, yes! This bike feels really good. That power, I had forgotten what bike acceleration is like, you know, having been in cars for the last year and a half. Visibility at this intersection's a lot better than in the Corvette. You're just up a little higher, you have nothing in the way. There are no blind spots, really. As long as you turn your head. Oh, these gold logos look so good. Real happy with how those came out. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I've got a video that I posted, I think it auto-posted a couple days ago, 2 days ago on Friday. And it shows the whole process of how you safely pull off the old ones and get the new ones installed. Even where to get them, links and everything. And I did it on the last bike, and then I really wanted to do it on this bike. The black is just such an understated color for the bike, so I wanted something with a little more character. What a beautiful day. It's going to be up to 60 today. We're at 50 right now, so my fingers aren't cold anymore. When I first started out, it was a little colder. Yeah, it's right at like 3,500. There's just this weird, kind of just a chattery noise. I don't know if it's back pressure on the airbox or something. It doesn't sound bad, it just doesn't sound like what I would expect. I had old dirt bikes that used to make that same type of noise at certain speeds where they're not making much power and when the throttle is like at a very constant, so it's not adding RPM. Alright, so riding position. This bike, it actually feels, and I don't know if it's just because of the amount of seat time I've had in my life, but I'm putting my feet on the, riding on the balls of my feet, and it feels natural. And the great part is that's pumping my heel up higher than that guard where on the boot video that I made, where the guard is getting in the way of turning and cornering. It doesn't feel so bad as what I thought it might. It's actually kind of out of the way for me so far. Though I haven't done any serious cornering, and I'm wearing, whoa, big dogs. And I'm wearing jeans, so I can't put a knee down. Plus, none of these roads are really for that. That looks like a lot of fun, actually. Go out with your friends, social distance. Scooters are a good time to putt around on. As long as you don't go super fast, because I just don't think that they're very stable. That step-through design seems like there's a lot of chassis flex. There they are. Oh yeah. Those are good-looking buffalo. I mean, I'm not really an authority on it, but they look good to me. They look happy. They got a lot of land here to roam around on. Seem like they're well taken care of. Kimball Farm. So I'm going 31 and I'm at 3,500, but I've got just slightly higher throttle and it's not making that noise. Oh, actually, it was slightly less throttle. Wow, when I open it up a little bit, you got that chatter. I think it's just a vibration from being at just the right amount of throttle. It doesn't need any gas, but you're giving a little bit, that kind of thing. Because the second you either add or let off, there's nothing, so not a big problem. Man, this thing sounds so good. Those lazy downshifts where you let the engine pull you back, man. And obviously when you roll on. We have our first boater of the season as a kayak. Out there, it looks like he's fishing. Wow, this bike looks so good. So this is that heel guard I was talking about, and you can see where my heel is brushed against it here. But when I'm on my balls, my feet, and especially when I'm turning, my heel is actually swinging up, so it's not really a problem. I think that's going to be fine on the track. Oh man, this thing is so much fun. Alright, let's go a little further. Some pretty houses along here. Boring cars, but pretty houses. Man, I would love to have a house along here someday. Just have that water view, have a dock, sit out there with my wife and my dog. Can't beat that. This is a fairly tight-fitting helmet for me. Just in the cheek area, I guess it means I have a fat face. But it means that when I'm talking here, both my voice is a little bit muffled and kind of different because it's pressing on my face, but also I bite my cheeks a lot when I talk in this thing. So that if I sound a little different or if I repeat myself a few times, it's because I bit my cheeks. Alright, so early verdict on the bike. Early verdict. It's awesome. The power, I mean, as you can see, the power and the torque are instant. You just roll on or snap on, and holy cow, this thing takes off in a hurry. It sounds good, it looks amazing, and it's comfortable. It's got the bars are probably 6 inches above the seat, so the rider's triangle is pretty generous. And man, it handles well. It's definitely a faster bike than the last one I had, the Hyper. But I mean, that's a good thing. This is what I was looking for. This will be super on the track, especially because it honestly seems like third and fourth are pretty much going to be gears I can just live in on the track. I won't have to do a ton of shifting. And let me let you in on a little secret on why this is the best bike that I possibly could have gotten. I like having a little bit of a unique bike, and certainly, like, I went and looked at the KTM Super Duke. They just did the Gen 3 redesign. I looked at the new V4 Streetfighter, and all of those were a little above the price I was looking to spend, especially for something that's really just going to be a hobby for me. But so then I went and looked at the new R6. I love that styling. I know underneath it's basically the same bike as all the previous generations. Well, not all. The previous generation, which is fairly long-lived. So I got a quote is, I don't know, 11, 12, 13, it was somewhere in that range. And, you know, they could work a little bit on price, but not a lot. This was $5,500. $55. Literally, this bike was less than half of anything else I looked at. It's unique. It's definitely not something you see a ton of. It's got a lot of character and personality, and it has that exotic feel. There's something about a Ducati that just feels different. You go in the showroom and it's all magnesium, aluminum, carbon fiber, beautiful paint. And that's just something that Ducatis have that is just special for me. Plus, having been a previous Ducati owner and having a really good experience with the Hyper, no problems, no issues, super dealership support. There really wasn't much of a choice once I realized, wait a second, these things have depreciated. The other crazy part is that, so this bike is 8 years old. It only has, I don't know, let's see, 2,961 miles on it, but to get a bike with this low miles for that good of a price, and it's in such good shape, it looks like a brand new bike, honestly. You know, the paint has got little things here and there, but honestly, most bikes, you ride them for a year, they're going to show that same thing. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this was so inexpensive compared to all the other bikes that I was looking at, and the fun factor is through the roof. Plus, I don't have to sweat it. This thing wasn't much money. I brought it to the shop. I had them give it a full review. They checked everything. The bike is as mechanically sound as something right off the showroom floor, and it speaks to me. This thing is just a beautiful bike. Nice car. That's awesome. Yeah. That was the first ride on the bike, and I'm very pleased with it. This thing is a beast. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to start getting ready for the track. Until next time, thanks for watching.